You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Monday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Growing up, I always used to hear the joke of like, oh man, couples never survive renovations. Doing a renovation with your spouse is hell.
Yeah. Well, it's right up there with build IKEA furniture before you put a ring on it.
We have almost finished renovating our kitchen.
Yeah?
And holy shit, dude.
Things are okay?
Past 2 weeks, like last night, me and Courtney, we finished the cupboards.
Yeah.
We just need to do the flooring in there. And we took a breath and I was like, I don't ever want to do renovations together ever again. You know what? It's been nice that we're both somewhat handy and we're able to do things at the house.
Yeah.
But fuck, I'm just paying someone next time, man. Oh
Honestly,
my God.
That's the thing, man, is the goal in life is not to get better at things. It's to make enough money to find people who are already good at it.
And I'm not putting the blame on her. It's a two-way street. We've both been pissing each other off.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. There's not one of you that can take the blame in a situation
There is
like
not
that.
enough weed in the world to make us chill out, man. I swear to God.
I will say, on the other side of things, I mentioned last week that we had some flooding in the basement.
Yeah.
That we got some water in there. When we found it, Mallory and I, this might be the one, man. We got down there. We got the whole room emptied out. We got the dehumidifiers and the shop vacs and all that set up. And we realized as we sat down on the couch when it was all done, we didn't argue or yell at each other even one time.
I'm glad you guys are able to suck up water together.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you.
Thanks for making me sound like an asshole.
No, but that's the difference. You and Courtney are 5 years in?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're this is still year one.
Oh, man. We've done so many renovations on this house, and every single time it's it gets to a boiling point where it's just you're irritating each other.
But how does the kitchen look?
It looks fantastic.
There you go. See, it's all worth it.
It looks fantastic.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was reading yesterday, interesting, apparently the government dropped a little announcement late on Friday. Most people might not have seen this. The government of Canada is bringing the old Domino's rule to passports.
What do you mean?
Remember the old 30 minutes or it's free shtick Domino's used to have on
the
delivery?
pizza? Yeah.
Yeah, so now the government has announced that if you don't get your passport, if your passport is not fully processed and sent out within 30 days of application, they refund all your fees.
Oh, okay.
So it's $160 if you get the 10-year passport for an adult. If you don't get your passport within 30 days, you get that money back and still get the passport once it's done.
Could the government also make another rule on top of that if you are on hold with the CRA for longer than 30 minutes, you get a discount on your taxes?
I don't think that's unreasonable.
That's something that they should also do.
I think that's entirely fair. I think the government really could find different ways to shorten the time you have to spend interacting with them on a lot of different things.
I think in general, any company that you are on hold with, if you're complaining about something, if you're on hold for longer than 30 minutes, you should get something for free.
My brother, I have literally been on hold with Meta, Facebook's parent company, since Saturday morning. That is a 48 hours on hold waiting for an answer.
They should give you all your information back from Russia.
They have to delete it from their servers and send it back to me.
Yeah.
Honestly, even just with the passport thing, the 30 days or you get your fees back, that's great. I actually think that's a really good step in holding themselves accountable. Some of these passport stories you hear from people
takes forever,
are nightmares. But can I get a 30 minutes or it's free for the actual process of going into Service Canada and applying for it? The actual passport application process? The last time, and I've been on my 10 years, so I'm coming up on needing to do this again.
Yeah.
I spent a full 90 minutes, an action movie in the early 2000s, just sitting in the office waiting for them to call my number like it was a deli.
Oh my God. Or Service Ontario, if you could get a 30 minutes or I don't even know what the free option is. There's nothing free that's going to get you there. What's the free?
Maybe it's not free necessarily for something like that, but a parting gift. If you've had to spend 30 minutes or longer in a Service Ontario, somebody comes by with a cold beverage and a snack.
You get 5 more Doug bucks. for every 30 minutes you wait.
No, man, as expensive as it was to send everybody $200, it's going to be way more expensive if they have to pay people to wait in a Service Ontario.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We had this call from friend of the show, Jeff.
Not a 30 minutes or less thing, but I was thinking the Timmy's drive-thru should have some sort of rule implemented where, like, it takes like 10 or 12 minutes, your order's free, bud.
I like the idea, Jeff, but I'm telling you right now, Tim Hortons in any other fast food place would be going under business.
No, they
like that.
never go for it, especially because, let's be honest, we've talked about this before. The problem at a Tim Hortons, especially in the morning, that it takes so long is not necessarily Tim Hortons' fault. It's the guy in front of you that ordered the one of everything.
It's a 50-50 split. There's times I've been inside of Tim Hortons and you can see the screens and they start flashing red when I think they go over 2 minutes.
Once they hit their timer, yeah. And you're
yeah.
just like, well, I guess I'm still waiting
The
here.
Tim Hortons drive-thru is the opposite of sex. Like anything that is over 2 minutes is terrible.
Also, I was thinking about, like, if you fly, you have experienced, especially in these modern times, I don't know what it is, every year it gets worse, just sitting in the airplane but not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Can we get a rule from WestJet, from Air Canada, from all these airlines? If you put me through the gate, if I walk down the walkway and I'm not in the sky within 30 minutes, I want my money back.
Oh, man, when we were going to Mexico, we sat on the tarmac for like an hour and a half.
They'll put you on the plane. You're in the nice airport terminal with the different little shops and bathrooms and all these things, and they'll be like, all right, why don't you, instead of sitting out here, go on the uncomfortable plane with the recycled air and the one bus bathroom, and you guys can just wait there for an hour.
Yeah. They're like, here's a $5 voucher for your next flight.
Yeah, I don't think so. I want half my ticket back, at least.
Or even, when you go for an oil change or something and you're sitting there, like, I think all those quick oil change places, 30 minutes or less.
30 minutes. Once I drive over the hole in the ground, you got 30 minutes. Although my only worry with something like that is I picture somebody down in the pit basically just like smoking and chilling for 25 minutes and going, oh, crap, and then just like doing a real rush job on your
plus
oil.
neither of us are smart enough to know if anything's actually wrong with our car.
Basically sit there for 28 minutes and then the guy just bangs on the bottom of your car and goes, you're good.
In Canada, you have to pay for an ambulance, right?
I think there are certain rules like where you can get it covered, but not always,
10 minutes or it's free.
You know what? I think that's fair.
10 minutes or it's free.
30's a long time, depending on where you live, for the ambulance to come and save your life.
We want first responders, not second responders.
Last responders.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Don't forget, if you feel like being a dick today, you have the ultimate excuse. Just blame it on daylight savings time.
Still recovering. You lost a whole hour of sleep. How are you possibly supposed to be responsible for your own behavior today?
I'm just saying people use the moon, Mercury being in retrograde, zodiac signs, all this stuff as excuses why they're a-holes. I think we should start making up more excuses for why you're a dick.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Like, you're going to hold me accountable for my actions in this, the year of the snake? Please.
I just find it funny. Imagine if after Groundhog's Day, you're like, I'm sorry, man. I know I'm a little off today, but like that groundhog didn't see its shadow.
Or even just, I saw my shadow this morning, and it is throwing me off this morning. Using that in like mid-July, just anytime.
Like last week, I finally found out what blood type I am. Imagine if I started just using that as an excuse, just be like, oh, I'm sorry, I am A positive.
Right. Hey, listen, classic A positive behavior.
You know how A positive people are, right?
Or even just like other random traits that are like out of your control. Like imagine if I was like, listen, I'm a size 15 shoe, all right? I'm gonna be grumpy on Tuesdays.
Sorry, I just haven't been myself since Tim Hortons changed the eggs.
Once they changed the coffee, how was I possibly supposed to function?
That's another one people use as a BS excuse is, I'm just not me without my coffee. Imagine if I did that, if I was like, just not me without my Mountain Dew. Okay?
Right, yeah. Don't talk to me until I've had my Monster Energy. Okay?
Oh, sorry, I don't have a filter, you know? What if you started being like, sorry, I have a filter. That's why I'm not talking
That's
right
why
now.
I'm just being really quiet.
Yeah. You've been quiet all night. Sorry, some of us have a filter.
Some of us just know when to keep our mouth shut.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
1, 2, 3. Bear, 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 gently bear, bear, bear.
Moosehead is capitalizing on being a true Canadian patriot. As I don't know if you saw over the weekend, they've started selling this giant crate with 1,461 beers in it. They say, quote, just enough to get through a full presidential term.
And when you say crate, like, you're not messing around. Like, this is the sort of thing that's like up on a pallet, has to be jacked around. Like, you can't just like, yeah, throw it in the back of the truck and I'll take it home.
The only problem I have with this is, to quote Step Brothers,
That's not enough, Dad!
1,461 beers. They're basically mathing it out that you're only going to have one beer a day. And
Right.
I know for a lot of people, that just ain't it, man.
Yeah, I just, I get the idea, right? We'll give you one beer a day for the entire 4 years. If the term is something that bothers you, here's something to take the edge off. But that means that you're not having any extras on a weekend.
Those are rookie numbers.
If it's a particularly tough day, you're still having one?
1,400 beers, I think, is some people's like yearly beers worth.
That's honestly, well, yeah, do the math. That's about 4 beers a day.
I mean, if you drink a 6-pack, you're pushing over probably, I'm not good at math, but that's over 2,100 beers.
That's a lot of beers if you're going after it on a daily basis, for sure. I would say, because you know me, I'm not much of a drinker anymore, but
Sure.
I would say, like, at my peak, I was probably, I would say 1,000 beer a year guy. I don't think, because I was never a huge beer guy, but I think at my absolute drinking peak, I was 1,000 beers a year.
I think you could crush 1,000 beers from Canada Day to Labor Day, honestly.
I mean, if you're willing to put in that work and you got the right people to do it with.
It's not that hard to do.
Or actually, I was saying if you got the right people to do it with, or if you have no people to do it with. Also easy to get those numbers.
That's what I'm saying. One beer a day just ain't it, man.
It's just, again, like anytime you're going out for the weekend, anytime you're going out for a couple after work, getting the friends together on a karaoke night on a Thursday, whatever the case might be, you are stacking up those numbers well over the one a day.
And are we talking tall cans? Are we talking regular cans? What are we talking here?
Just
you know?
the idea of sitting down and having one 8-ounce can of patriotism, because that's basically what they're selling this every single day, doesn't feel like enough.
The I Am Canadian guy would not stand for this. I'll tell you that right now.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Moosehead is offering up a crate of beer with over 1,400 beers in it. Enough beers, they say, to last a full presidential term. 1,461 beers to be specifically. We were saying that's not enough beer. So we asked you guys, 762-555, how much beer do you drink in the run of a year? And, oh my God, no rookie numbers here on the text line.
Some of you are terrified. This text here says, my buddy drinks 6,345 beers a year, which I did the math, is roughly 17 beers a day. You're almost at a beer an hour for the year at that rate.
It's insane.
That's a lot of beer.
I was curious. I did give a Google here. It says the average Canadian drinks 64 liters of beer a year.
Damn.
Now, there's around 8.52 liters in a 2-4. So that works out to what? Roughly 7.5 cases of 2-4s?
7 to 8. Yeah.
And that still feels low.
Really? See, that feels about right for me.
7.5 cases?
7 to 8 in my, like, when I was maybe hard drinking in my youth, a little more than that. But yeah, 7 to 8 2-4s a year seems like it should do the trick.
Now, Matt brought up a good point because these beers they're claiming are supposed to last 4 years. But friend of the show, Matt, texted in and said, how long is the shelf life on these? Because they're going to get so skunky. Like, if you're literally doing the one-a-day thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure beer only has a shelf life of like 2 years if it's refrigerated properly.
Right. The idea is like 730 you could get through in 2 years, and then you'd have 731 for the leap year in the second year.
Yeah.
That's 731 beers that are probably all going to taste funky by the time you get to that point.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we all have a beer or something in our fridge that's just been sitting there for the longest time. Like maybe you had a barbecue, you had some lads over, and you had that one buddy bring over some gross IPA, and it's just been, every time you look in the fridge, it's sitting at the back there like, please.
Right, yeah.
Please.
You had a barbecue and someone was like, I brought you home-brewed cider. You were like,
yeah.
Hey, man, you can tuck that all the way to the back of the fridge.
I don't know why we always keep them. It'll be like a Radler or whatever it is, and you see it every single time, and you're like, someone's going to drink this eventually.
That's the thing, right? You always think like, well, what if this friend, if it was a gift, what if they come back over?
They might want it.
They might want it.
They never do.
They're going to ask if you drank it. What did you think? I don't want to embarrass them.
Not even beers and stuff like that. Liquor bottles. How many times do you crush something one night and you leave a little bit of piss end of something in a bottle and
Absolutely.
it just sits there?
You've got a full 2.6 of glass taking up space in a cupboard or a shelf somewhere when you could easily pour it into a shot glass. Just finish it or dump it out. There's nothing left.
Tail end of gin that you swigged one night, just waiting for another greasy night of you needing something.
Just waiting for you to be so far in the weeds that you look over at that bottle and it calls your name.
You know what we should call those? We should call those black book bottles. When you're desperate for some real lovin'.
A little boozy call?
Something to warm you up.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Beer a day for 4 years, including a leap year.
We had so many people texting in about how much they drink, and we've got friend of the show, Billy, on the phone. You got a story for us?
So a while ago, I drink Moosehead. That's my main beer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they used to send out you used to get a T-shirt in a case.
Yeah.
And I'm not svelte. The T-shirts never fit. So I emailed them and I'm like, "Dear people at Moosehead, how are you? I'm fine. I've been a loyal Moosehead drinker for 13 years.
And I just want to wear a shirt."
Well, yeah. Anyway, by my estimate, I got the calculator out. $67,158. Jesus, if I put that in, even at 7.5%, I could have made that money work. Anyway,
oh my God. If you do the breakdown of everything that you enjoy in life and added it all up, that's insane.
So I email them, I tell them all this. I'm like, maybe I could have a little something, for the effort,
Did they give you anything?
Yeah, they sent me coasters, a sweater, hat.
Would you say you got $67,000 in swag?
Yeah, it fell way short, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. If you, like I said, if you broke down everything that you enjoy, that you buy,
you'll get depression.
Oh my God.
That's what it is, brother. As soon as you start becoming your own accountant for the things that you love, you just get sad.
Yeah.
There's no scenario where it's a good idea.
If stoners did the math on how much they spend on jazz cabbage, you would have a Mount Everest pile of weed.
Well, don't forget the foothills on Dorito prices.
Oh my God, yeah, seriously.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Our friends down south are having a huge problem with people trying to smuggle eggs into their country.
Dude, eggs are crazy.
We have talked about before that they are having a very hard time getting eggs in the United States right now. And apparently, U.S. border officials have reported a 36% jump in people trying to bring in eggs from Mexico and Canada right now.
Honestly, it's whatever you can do. It's the same way that Canadians used to love to go shopping in the States because things were cheaper. You could get deals. The price of eggs, looking at some of the stores down in the States, when you see these stories on TV, it feels like I'm back in the Northwest Territories, dude. It's crazy.
The idea of smuggling eggs across the border is so funny to me, to have a truck. You got anything you want to declare? And you're like, no, I read online. You can get $1,000 fine for doing this.
Oh, absolutely. But if you're smuggling eggs across the border, you got to sit on them, right? You gotta be like mother henning.
Do you think
them.
anyone's boofing them?
Anyone's got a couple. They're shaped in a way that you could probably get one or two if you really wanted it.
I wonder what the world record on that is.
How bad do you want this omelet?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This might be the greatest jersey in sports history. There is a Champions League soccer team. They are known as Stade Brestois. Is the name. I don't know what it stands for. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Okay.
But CBS has a UEFA Champions League sports panel that have gone viral a couple times because they're real casual with it. It's got the same vibes as Charles Barkley on the NBA. There was Shaq.
Okay.
They take shots at each other, lots of jokes. One of them is apparently a big fan of this soccer team and was presented live on TV with a jersey that says breast lover.
What?
Now it's BREST because of Brestois is the name of the team.
Oh, okay.
But they were thanking him for his support of the team by naming him their official breast lover.
Is that what the fans refer to? Do they call the team the breast?
If it's not what they've been calling it, it needs to start now.
Are they in the stands go, breast, go, go, breast, go?
It's a real hands-on affair when it comes to the fans, and the love for this team is what I've heard.
All right, breast fans, we need you to pump it up here.
was just thinking, I was like, it's just another big W for soccer and soccer fans. Like, say whatever you want about the sport, whether or not you can watch it.
Sure.
Soccer fans and like the marketing around the game over there is some of the coolest stuff. And we need more of that energy here in North America. So I was thinking, why don't we go to the big four, baseball, basketball, hockey, football, and try and come up with some ideas for similar marketing campaigns that they can steal that would make them a bunch of money.
I'm trying to think. There's something with the Rough Riders. It just sounds like something you find in a truck stop bathroom.
Honestly, well, but do you go Ottawa or do you go Saskatchewan? Which Rough Riders is more appealing?
Yeah.
Or even like you go to hockey, get yourself like a Go Nuck Yourself t-shirt.
That could work.
That honestly feels like a no-brainer.
I mean, Trojan could sponsor the San Francisco Giants and just replace Magnum with them.
Columbus Blue Jackets colored condoms.
That could work too. The LA Chargers gas station pills.
Charge you right up.
Yeah.
Washington Nationals have a game where the first 5,000 women through the gates get a free bikini top, and it just says Big Nats.
Big Nats.
Big Nats fan. Love the Nats.
The Blue Jays could do something, touch 'em all toy. I don't know how that works, but it's autographed by Joe Carter.
Get yourself some Tennessee Titans underwear. Just says Titan on the front.
Denver Nuggets skid-free underwear.
You know what? Knowing sports fans, I don't think we have the technology to guarantee that.
I like this idea, as long as the Nashville Predators stay out of this one.
Well, I'm waiting for that Big Diddy crossover, but for now...
The Nashville Predators Chris Hansen crossover.
Why don't you have a seat over here?
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know those BuzzFeed quizzes that are so much fun? Yeah, that's not what this is. It's the quiz with Brock and Dalby.
All right, thanks to everyone who texted in. Today, we are going to do the quiz of the greatest guitar intros to songs. So I am going to play you the riff, and you need to tell me the band and the song to get the ding, all right? Are you ready?
Well, we'll see. This is one of those ones where, like, I feel like I've got a shot, but I'm also nervous because I feel like it's a lot of pressure.
Well, we'll start with an easy one here.
Smoke on the Water, Deep Purple.
That is correct.
I'm going
Were you hesitant
slow.
on the band?
No, it's just in general. I'm like, I don't want to even get a syllable wrong if I think I know it.
All right, next one here should be an easy one.
It's Metallica.
Yeah. Oh, no. You're not going to get it? Nothing?
Is it? It's not Seek and Destroy. I know that.
Master of Puppets.
Master of Puppets. Couldn't get there.
That one gets the bell.
I don't care. Your bells mean nothing
That
anymore.
one gets the bell.
Your bells mean nothing. You overused them.
I thought that was an easy one. All right. Next one.
Oh, that's that Snow Hey-O Chili Peppers?
That is correct.
Yeah. I've heard that one a lot.
Not Metallica, eh? All right, next one here.
Oh. Oh, my God. I know I've heard it a million times.
Nothing?
Hang on. Crazy on You by Heart?
There you
There
go.
we go.
There
Okay.
we go. I had to pull deep from the well.
I just needed that riff to play out because then it goes like do 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 and then into the song.
All right, next one here.
That's Purple Haze, right? Jimi Hendrix?
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool.
All right, final one here. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
Ooh. Rush.
Yes.
Is that which Rush is it? That's
That is the question.
Yeah. I don't listen to a ton of Rush is the problem. I'm gonna guess New World Man, but I don't think it's right.
As a radio guy.
Shame.
Spirit of Radio.
Spirit of Radio.
It's the Spirit
There
of
it is.
Radio.
Spirit of Radio. I'm bummed out that I didn't get it. Your shame bells mean nothing, but that sucks.
Do you not have the Spirit of Radio?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Hey, it's Max from Markel's. The one thing that I never go on stage without is...
Something we've done here on the show before is just censoring out random clips and songs. What if we just start censoring out clips in Arkel's songs in honor of What the Bleep?
Oh, absolutely, because there are some lines in an Arkel song throughout their whole catalog that they're pretty harmless. Like, they're a pretty safe band when it comes to their lyrics. But you throw a little tone in there, throw a little beep, changes the whole vibe.
He's thirsty, baby.
That is inappropriate. Best of times.
I don't know if you remember the song People's Champ.
Oh, yeah.
That is what The Rock calls his penis.
I've heard him say it.
It works for a bunch of them. He's relentless. That's essentially what he's saying in the song.
I mean, yeah, basically, you're taking what the line already is, you just punching it up a little bit.
I was thinking, what about Leather Jacket? A heirloom that's maybe passed down?
There are so many leather things your father could have had that would be inappropriate in that situation.
Come to Light, it works too.
And in times of fear, you shelter me, and you hold me so tenderly.
Sometimes when I'm scared, I like very specific things to be held.
And of course, I mean, Oh, the Boss is Coming has already got a good pun in the name.
Sure.
But
when he keeps taking the new receptionist into the office for, lunch meetings.
The boss is coming.
This is the Brock and Delby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is supersede. Yep, supersede. 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 And anyways, it's to displace in favor of another. Kind of like, I guess, moving on up.
What?
Anyways, whatever. That's about it. Have a great one. Cheers her up.
You know what? Actually, a perfect example considering Trudeau stepped down and Mark Carney has superseded Trudeau.
That's right.
As the new prime minister of our country.
He will be superseding as he takes control of the government and therefore the country for at least a short period of time.
He is our stepdaddy right now. which is
referring to him as our stepdad.
I'm just saying, if you get a step parent, they have superseded your parent, at least in the household that you live in.
Right. Yeah, if you lived with your dad and he used to run around a little bit.
Yeah.
Your dad was always superseding with new moms.
Yeah. You're like, when you find out your ex has a new man, you figured out you've been superseded.
Right, yeah. Can I be honest, though? Can I just say, I don't know if I'm the only one that was shocked that Ed's word of the day was supersede and he didn't make one joke about his garden?
I mean, if you think about it, technically there were people that were superseded by the government once dispensaries became a thing.
That's true. Yeah, I used to buy my weed from a guy with no teeth until the government superseded his business.
It used to be illegal to buy supersedes. Supersede. Use it wherever you can, all right?
For more Brock and Delby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.